Welcome to Stuff That We Like / Enjoy, at least at this point in time. I'm Caleb.
Christina, I so dramatically looked over. It's like,
We are the Castanettas, and today...
I'm going to ask Caleb what his contentment level is on a scale of 1 to 10.
It is a 7. We've had a glorious long weekend.
We've actually had, we didn't have work yesterday.
Yes.
It was the first weekend we didn't have anything. And seriously, maybe 2 months.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah.
We literally...
We watched a whole movie.
We watched the whole movie.
In one sitting.
We watched so much of The Office. We literally didn't know what to do with ourselves one night. We had worked ourselves so hard for so long that we were uncomfortable in the silence and uncomfortable with the rest. We walked around our neighborhood because it was just the first time we've had time to take a walk together, and it just felt wrong.
We were both utterly exhausted. You know, when you go on a trip or you're hustling, you got to make it through an event or through Christmas. And then the day after, you're just absolutely nothing left to give. That's how we were.
Yeah.
Trying to go on a walk. And we were like, my skin feels weird. I'm itching. Am I ill?
Completely depleted, completely no energy.
Yeah.
And everything felt wrong because we were resting.
Yeah.
But we made it through that part and got to an actual day of rest yesterday. Mm-hmm. It was so fun. So yeah, I'm a 7.
That's good.
What about you?
Yeah, I would say I'm probably an 8, which is probably your 7.
Yeah.
Ish.
Maybe
maybe
my
your
6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have a weekend off. I finished school for the semester and start again in 1 week. But as of December 15th, I will be an official college graduate with my bachelor's in business.
Ooh. Tell us one thing about business right now. Top of the dome.
I don't think you can learn very much about business from going to school. I think you got to just do it. Yep.
All right. This has been Hitting the Books with Christina Castanetta.
I love school. I think you should go to school if you want to.
Yeah. That's good.
But more so for the paper.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good thing to come away with.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yes. All right. Well, would you like to share with us today what is something you like / enjoy, at least this point in time?
Something I like is the question of what is ego?
That's a great question.
What do you think ego is, Christina?
I think it comes from the word egotistical, which means full of yourself. That's probably the Merriam-Webster's definition. Full of yourself. Someone who's full of yourself. I don't know. Yeah, have pride or you think you're the stuff. You're all that in a bag of chips. All the sayings.
And a bag of chips.
Yeah.
What kind of chips would you want with your ego?
I think sun chips, actually. The
that sounds
cheddar
really
cheese
good.
sun chips.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're a little sturdier. Whereas Lay's, my other thought was sour cream and chive potato chips, but they're just...
Sour cream and chive potato chips? I've never had that.
Yeah, the Lay's potato chips, the green one.
They have chives in them? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It was just always sour. I just always said sour cream chips.
That'd be a weird chip.
Well, my ego wants that. So you'd have sour cream and chive chips with your ego?
No, because they're too fragile. So
that's what you're
sun
saying.
chips. I prefer sour cream and chives.
Chip.
Yeah, a sturdier chip.
A chip that can hold your weight.
Yes, a lot of flavor, ridges, texture.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right. Well, tell us about ego.
Well, my chips preference.
Oh, yes, of course. My bad.
Would be, no, you're good. Would be Doritos. I love Doritos.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I used to binge once a week. I would eat healthy for most of the week and go and get Taco Bell and a adult size bag of Doritos.
Oh, you'd pick up both.
Yeah, this was on occasion, so I'd say once a month.
Okay,
but
once a month. I thought you were going to say this happened twice.
No, it was pretty regular.
Is it a family size bag? Or
a family size bag of Doritos, and I would tear into that like it was my last day on earth. And I would eat my Taco Bell, and the next day I would regret being alive.
What kind of Doritos?
It would be spicy Doritos.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No wonder you regretted.
I know. Yeah. Maybe that's
Okay.
why I'm the way I am. I can't handle spicy food. So ego.
Tell me more.
What is ego? So I looked it up, and ego is defined as a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. A more clear definition that I found would be the part of the mind that mediates between the conscious and unconscious and is responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity. So that'll become more clear.
Wow.
That
Can you say
definition,
the first line again of
Yes.
the definition?
the part of the mind that mediates between the conscious and the unconscious.
Okay. And you said something about a sense of self.
Yes, is responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity.
Okay.
So the sense of self was from the first definition, which is a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance.
Okay. So it's my own sense of my own purpose.
It's your own sense of who you are,
Okay.
your own sense of what your identity actually is. So it took me a long time to actually wrap my mind around it, and I still don't fully have it around it. So
Yeah.
I apologize.
That's all right.
Apologize if it's not super clear.
No, I mean, you're just reading the sentences.
Yeah. I think as I describe it more and go into more of the details, it'll become more clear too.
Yeah.
So just
So,
bear with me.
From the definition, it's not an inherently bad thing.
No.
Yeah.
Which is what I was super
Interesting.
surprised about.
Yeah.
Because I'm always fighting the ego, which I
Right.
consider
Or that person
pride.
has a big ego.
Yes.
It's bad.
That's exactly the sentence I was stuck on when I
Interesting.
first dove into this.
Yeah.
It's like ego is just pride because I've always heard that.
Yeah.
But ego is just who you think you are. Now you could have an inflated ego,
Like,
which
who do you think you are?
exactly. Yeah. Well, like
do you know who I am? Who do you
yes,
think I am?
just pump up the sentence. That's what we're talking about. But you can have an inflated ego, so an inflated sense of how important you are, and that's what people say what people mean when they say that guy has a big ego. It's his sense of self is inflated beyond what it actually is,
Interesting. Wow.
or her.
Oh, of course, yes. Yeah. You don't have too much of an ego, thinking it's only about dudes. Although I would say the majority of people I think of as having an ego are men.
That's interesting.
I actually don't think of women having big egos.
Yeah. Well, we're still conflating ego with pride, though.
Yeah. Well, I think of prideful women, but I don't know. I think of ego as being masculine.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I could see
Should
that.
dig into why
I could
that
see
is.
Yeah. So a little bit of the history of the topic of ego. So the concept of ego comes from Sigmund Freud's structural model of the psyche.
Ooh.
It was created. I know.
He's
it was
a bad
created.
guy.
I know. But he created it. It created in the early 1900s. So Freud divided the mind into three parts. The id, which is spelled ID. Have you heard of that before?
Uh-huh.
So that's the raw, instinctive part of us that wants pleasure and avoids pain. So it's the lizard brain.
Animalistic, yeah.
Yeah, the lizard brain part of our brain. And the second part of the mind would be the superego. So the
Okay.
moral part. This is the part that decides what is right and wrong.
Huh. Okay.
And then the third part would be the actual ego, which is the rational middleman between the id, the lizard brain part,
okay.
and the superego that negotiates between those two and decides what reality is.
Okay. So the animal part's like, I'm hungry, I'm going to steal that. And the super ego's like, stealing's wrong. And then the ego's like,
Yeah,
what do we
he's
do?
telling you not to steal because it is wrong.
Right.
Maybe go find food another place. It's living in reality.
yeah.
Your ego is supposed to be based in what is real
And being
right now.
aware of your thoughts and desires inside.
Yeah, and negotiating between the two. Interesting, right?
Very interesting.
Which I agree with.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
It's cool. I've heard of the id and I didn't know what it was.
There you go.
And I just thought super ego was the same, just a big ego.
I know, me too. Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Exactly. So later thinkers and philosophers took this even further. Carl Jung saw the ego as the center of consciousness, not who we truly are, but how we perceive ourselves. Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics didn't use the word ego, but they warned against pride and over-identifying with success or failure. Their goal was similar, which was self-awareness without self-obsession. So let's get into a little bit.
Self-aware without being obsessed with yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so being aware of like your needs, your desires, your motivations without like being a narcissist or
Exactly.
being consumed with it.
So here's the thing.
I didn't know that Marcus Aurelius was a real person. I thought he was like from Braveheart or Gladiator.
Gladiator, yeah.
Is he a real person?
He's a real person, yeah.
Okay, but is he any gladiator?
I think they use his first name is Marcus something
Is it
Maximus
similar?
Aurelius. It's very similar.
So I'd heard it somewhere. Okay,
yes.
got it.
But Marcus Aurelius was kind of one of the fathers of the Stoics, where he took the teachings of his fathers and people who counseled him as he grew and put them all into a book. And that's what Stoics read and kind of base their own or pull from for their own philosophy, their own Stoic philosophy. Because there's different sections of Stoicism and things like that. It gets really interesting.
You should do a topic on the Stoics sometime.
I really respect Stoicism, and I was into it for a while. So yeah, maybe.
That's why you're so no emotions.
No, it's just because my brain sucks. Anyways, not really. I love my brain.
Is that being ego? Is that your superego?
It's my id. I want to love it so bad. So basically, yeah, what we're talking about is the ego. We all have one. It's not bad to have an ego.
Yeah.
And you can't not have one.
Right.
You can have an inflated ego. That's bad. Okay. Or a, I guess, deflated ego.
Where you have a poor view of yourself.
And that's also bad. But what we're trying to do in life is constantly compare what we think of ourselves with what is real and meet in the middle.
Yeah. Compare what we think of ourselves and meet in the middle.
Yes. And that's having a healthy ego as a human being.
Right.
Not necessarily as a Christian. As a Christian, I'll talk about that a little bit later.
You kill your ego.
Kind of.
You replace your ego.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah. I'm just spitballing.
I got you. So let's get into some facts about ego. So here's what modern psychology tells us. The ego is essential. People with a stable sense of self or a healthy ego are more resilient, more empathetic, and less reactive to stress. But when ego is inflated or fragile, we see common issues like defensiveness, jealousy, arrogance, or even anxiety and depression. According to studies on self-concept and ego defense mechanisms, the ego constantly works to protect us, sometimes through denial, rationalization, or projection. These defenses aren't evil, they're just survival tactics. And the last kind of fact is something I pointed out earlier, but the ego can't be destroyed. You can't get rid of your ego. Despite what some self-help books claim, the goal is to actually understand it and make it serve you,
right,
and not have you serve it.
Interesting.
So you can't destroy your ego. It's always there.
Yeah, because on one side you're like self-absorbed, which I mean, and then the other side is like you're depressed and anxious, or it's all like there's like if you can't really kill it per se, because like trying to lessen it leads to the opposite.
Yeah.
I don't know if that made sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're just trying to mediate between who you are, who you think you are, and who you actually are in real life. And meet in the middle and like find a healthy view of yourself.
Right.
So it's interesting. I think the third fact I pulled about this topic mentioned that the ego uses defense mechanisms and is constantly working to protect us, whether that is through self-aggrandization. I don't know, is that how you say it? Or shame, or like making you think you are less than you are.
Yeah.
It's constantly trying to defend you from the world who is trying to tell you you're one way that's going to hurt you. And it's saying, no, you're actually this way. You know, you're actually better than that, or you're actually worse than that. So your ego is always trying to help you.
Interesting.
It's never trying to destroy you. I don't think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But you said have an inflated sense of ego.
Yes.
So in that case, it would be negative.
For sure.
Yeah.
The effects of your ego trying to defend you from harm, from emotional or mental harm, can be in and of themselves harmful, but it's not because your ego is trying to kill you. It's because it's trying to defend you from being hurt by the world. And sometimes people have an inflated sense of ego is because nobody ever told them they were great. Nobody ever did. And so they had to tell themselves, and they convinced themselves they were the best.
Yeah. Interesting.
So that's what I believe, at least from my very small dive into what ego is.
Yeah, very vast. You can go so many directions with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So some practical advice on how we get a healthy ego. We need to practice self-honesty. We need to be humble and be willing to admit when our reactions are about protecting our pride rather than pursuing truth. So we need to base ourselves in reality and not lie to ourselves when we are wrong or being a total butt. Another way is to detach from titles and outcomes. You are not your job, your success, or your failures. And I think this is huge in American culture.
Yeah.
It's just ask any guy, what do you talk about with another guy when you first meet them? And it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
And from what do you do, that question of what do you do, we're trying to get at who are you? You know, are you a hard worker?
Yeah.
Do you make more
What's
money
your
than me?
value? Yeah.
What's your status?
Yeah.
And we're comparing ourselves to them, comparing our own ego against, well, I don't know necessarily how to say that, but we're comparing ourselves to them.
Yeah.
And so we don't want to define ourselves by our roles and by our jobs, but we're constantly reinforcing that by the way we communicate with people. So just be aware of that. That's something I also do to other men that I meet.
Huh.
Yeah. And lastly, this is my tip. But I would read the Bible and ask God who you actually are.
Yeah.
He's the only one that knows you best. And the more that we ask him who we are, the more we can separate our egos from what we do and think and ground them in the identity that he has given us. Because ultimately, that is the identity we will carry with us into our eternal destiny. That is the ego we will carry with us, the sense of self. So getting familiar with it now is pivotal in how we will live out the rest of our lives here on earth. And this is where I'll start to close a little bit here, but this is where I think being a decent human with a decent ego and being a Christian, this is where it separates. Because a decent human with a decent ego is just going to be like, I'm trying to try to ground myself in reality.
Right.
And be really honest about who I am when I look in the mirror. And that would be a healthy ego for a human being. A healthy ego for a Christian comes from the Lord because he's the one who gave us new identities. We are sons and daughters of Jesus Christ, of God, of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And so he has that identity, that ego that he's constantly imparting to us. And we're constantly being, how do they say it?
Justified. And so you're justified, sanctified, and then glorified.
Glorified.
So it's the sanctification. We're continuing to be made like Jesus. Because justification is like you are forgiven, you are righteous in God's sight. And then sanctification is the ongoing lifetime process of becoming more holy and transformed into the likeness of Christ. And then glorification is when you make it to heaven.
There we go. So sanctified.
Yeah.
Sanctified is the right word there.
We are theology nerds.
We are continually being sanctified.
Yes.
And that gives us a different identity than we will ever fully know here on earth.
Yeah.
And so, no, we cannot get rid of ego, but we're also not supposed to give ourselves our ego, our own sense of self. We're supposed to receive that from the Lord as Christians who rely upon him. So in closing, my thought and impartation to anybody who's listening to this, who's a Christian, is if you don't know who you are, ask the Lord, read the word, and continue to speak what the word says about you as a son or daughter of the Lord over yourself every single day.
So good.
That's where your ego should come from. It should not come from a healthy balance of who you are in reality here on earth, because this isn't the only reality. There's a spiritual reality happening we don't see.
Yeah.
So there's a spiritual side of us we do not see. And the Lord sees both the spiritual and the physical. He can tell you who you are to him, who you are on this earth. So go out there, read the Bible, ask the Lord who you are, get your identity from him. Don't listen to Stoicism. Don't listen to Buddhism. Don't listen to your id. I guess don't think ego is a bad thing. It's not just pride.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is a sense of who you are, and it's meant to be embraced, but only through what the Lord tells you about yourself.
Yeah. A healthy ego would be confidence in like who you actually are.
Yes.
And who you are being a good thing.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's it.
So it's like Megamind. Megamind has a big ego. A super ego, but not that kind of super ego.
Yes.
Inflated ego. And then we find
Inflated.
out he had a really hard childhood. And that's why he is Megamind. Because he wants to prove that he's lovable. And then he becomes loved. And his head doesn't shrink though, right?
No.
I've only seen the movie once.
You could even say he's not trying to prove that he is lovable. He's trying to push away anything that tells him he is lovable.
Right.
He's trying to tell himself he is important. Yeah. He's telling himself he doesn't need that. He's too important to have that, which is his ego protecting him. And then at the end, someone finally accepts him for who he is.
That's great. I really should watch the movie again. I only saw it once when it came out, but I just was thinking Megamind has an inflated ego.
He does. He has a big head.
Yeah. Love it. That was a fantastic topic.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any myths related to it?
I have zero myths related to this.
Cool. I mean, I guess the myth could be that ego is always a bad thing. And it's busted.
Busted.
Myth.
Busted.
Wow. Love it. That was a great topic. You really should do one on Stoicism in the future. That'd be cool.
Fun. I'm reading Marcus Aurelius' book now, so we'll do it soon.
Okay. The one from Gladiator or?
Yeah, that one, babe.